My media product uses the forms and conventions of real media products. One way in which it does this is with the interviews. Conventionally, the interviewee is the left or right of the screen, usually in a medium close-up or a close-up. The eyeline is also a third of the way down the screen. Following convention in all of our interviews, the person looks at the interviewer and not the camera. The background should be something which relates to what they are talking about. There is also graphics in the background which relate to the person speaking, and also in front of them with writing saying, for example, the name and occupation. I found that the framing of most of our interviews was good, and for most we also reflected the education type background, in particular with the teenager interview, as we had shelves of books in the background which strongly relates to what she is saying. However, the framing for the vox pops could be improved, in particular with the woman saying, would Barclay never look away, as the camera was very low and far away, and therefore it gave a low angle. She was also distant from the camera, which made it hard to hear. In our interviews, we also use cutaways in order to prevent jump cuts. This is conventional to many professional documentaries. The cutaways also relate to what the person is saying and acts as a visual aid for the audience. For our documentary, we used the same voiceover throughout. Our voiceover was a woman who spoke clearly when recording the voiceover. We asked her to say the script in somewhat of a patronising tone, as this reflects how a primary school teacher would talk to a pupil, and this is what our documentary is about. The voiceover conventionally comes in various intervals throughout the documentary to give the audience extra information. This is what we did for our documentary, also using visual aids to make it more interesting for the audience. At the beginning of our documentary, we introduced our topic with a voiceover. The montage was a point of view shot of somebody walking around the library, which was relative to our documentary. We created an interesting title sequence for our documentary, which is typically made to grab the reader's attention. To do this, we used a well-known song and also made a stop-motion sequence introducing the title, which makes it more interesting for the audience. With real media products, the title sequence is not too long, and this is reflected without our documentary, whereby it only lasts a short period of time and therefore the audience does not lose interest. In creating our radio trailer, we included several clips from our documentary, which we would gain the audience's interest, which is also conventional with real media products. We intercut these clips with a voiceover, which is the same voiceover from our documentary. Throughout the radio trailer, we used a music bed, which is the same music used in our actual documentary. This again grabs the audience's attention, and it is a well-known song for our target audience. We began the trailer with the slogan of our documentary, which is conventional to gain the audience's interest. We then placed information about what date, time and channel the documentary would feature on. Being the last thing they heard, the audience remember this information for most of the trailer. Real media products create interesting and colourful products in order to attract the viewer's interest to the documentary. In creating our newspaper advert, our model is a person who featured in the documentary. He is also wearing bright primary school-based colours, which would attract the reader's attention. The background is also colourful, but not so colourful that it distracts the audience from the text. The newspaper advert conventionally features the channel logo. The slogan and the title itself should also be on the newspaper advert, alongside the time and date of the documentary. All of this text is made to stand out from its background so that the audience have a clear and informative information about the documentary. Stereotypically, the image relates to the documentary, which is also interesting and grab the reader's attention. In our advert, we did so by using the same model, sitting back to back, reading and playing on a game which relates to the topic of our documentary.